Hello and welcome. We return once more for the solo tabletop RPG Galactic Requiem. Well, it's not really a solo tabletop, but we are running it solo. So, here we are. As soon as we make sure everything is set up properly, here we are. Everything should be working here. Very good. So, it is, of course, the 28th day of the 4th month of the year 7894. Well, the abbreviated year, galactic standard systems and all that. The last day of the month, even. So, of course, for you Elysians out there, it is Friday or Saturday, depending on your orbital rotation of your world and your placement on it. However, here it is Sunday, and of course, this is Solo Sunday. Even though it's not always on a Sunday here or there, but look, it's already confusing enough the way it is, but it is technically Sunday, and we are running the solo thing, so it's Solo Sunday, even if, it's not always on Sundays. So today we are, well, as I said repeatedly, we are continuing the adventures of Juliana Aldous. Today, of course, however, will be a bit slower, probably. I'm not sure. The bot might throw twists and turns at us. So we'll see where that goes, but I expect today to be highly preparation filled, as it's technically, well, we'll just see where it goes. Today's more a maintenance than anything, I would assume, as I suppose we should cover what happened. Having gone to the abandoned zoo to try and exchange the target for currency with a local gang, with the assistance of a different local gang. The mission was a failure, not a success. As well, somebody got there before our party of adventurers, well, mercenaries. And, well, a lot of dead gangsters and a small car chase later, our party escaped and returned back to the place without their target. So, we'll see where it goes from there. We might have to generate some new plot points using the bot, of course, but we'll see. So, let's get into it without further delay. Let me make a quick check. Okay, here we are. So, our party has returned after a failure of a mission. As the plot somewhat thickens, given that, well, the party found, like I said, that somebody got there before them. Specifically, I should note, somebody got there before them and had use of advanced, well, not super advanced, but advanced plasma weaponry, as I recall, which is strange. It was either plasma or laser weapon. I'm pretty sure it was plasma. Which, I mean, we can always check our notes. Which, as we're taking things slow, we might as well. Yes, meeting in zoo, abandoned and run down. Gang operates in the area. Okay. And lastly, so I suppose we'll get to it. Let's see. Like I said, it's going to be a bit slower because we're going to have to do quite a bit of thinking, maintenance, preparation, etc. See where the plot takes us. See whether we even wish to follow the plot. That's the great thing, both about tabletop RPGs and the way we run them here, which is, I mean, when running tabletop RPGs, I often, unless there's, a specific reason that a player can't do, like leave, we usually have a let the characters, I mean, just walk away. It's usually an option. If you're, I mean, well, I say usually, truly, usually. I mean, of course, there are consequences to certain things. Of course, if your character's in a space military, just walking away, if it's possible, often leads to being deemed a deserter and so forth. But, like if you're a mercenary on a mission, you can walk away, but, you know, you might get in trouble with your contacts. Maybe someone will put a hit out on you. Maybe your reputation will tank. Maybe you won't get paid. Maybe other people won't do business with you. It depends. Of course, Juliana Aldous is not really here for reputation. She's not going to walk away. She has personal reasons for being here. She's not going to walk away. Specifically, I suppose we should just quickly recover the background here. Juliana Aldous, the mercenary we follow, which is this one. Her objective here is basically revenge on the government. Not the local government, but a different government. Okay, I suppose I was trying to be brief with it, but I suppose we won't. We're in the Terran nations right now. Well, not us, but you learn all this. She's in the Terran nations, and well, the Terran nations are sort of a not unified. That they loosely unify on occasion, but they're not a unified government. They're a bunch of different governments. They're the Terran nations. Anyway, she worked for one of them in her past, one of the Terran nations. She worked for one of them as a caster and so forth in their military/government. Things went south, and to be very brief, she now wants them and their government destroyed, dead, eliminated, and the leaders of it and so forth. Probably most of the leaders. Well, the entire system, but it's not like she despises the water company, but basically the leadership and the like. So basically, on this world, she had to leave being, alone against the nation and with low resources. She had to leave and took up work as a mercenary to try and gather resources, given the fact that she was in their military. What else would she do to gain resources? So she took up mercenary work. Well, there's a lot of things she could have done, but she chose mercenary work. Being a mercenary, she's tried to gather resources to, well, A, survive, and B, build up a network to eventually achieve her goals of eliminating certain people in the Terran Nation government. So, on this world, unrelated to all that, she worked with a local nation. She did some mercenary work and then started working with a local nation. The local nation she's working with is currently in a war. with another local nation, both on the same world. The local nation they're against has ties to the government that Juliana Aldis despises. On this mission in particular, now that wouldn't be a big problem. The government she despises has ties with all sorts of different nations and different corporations and different ventures, so that's not really a big deal. Of course, she would go against them when possible if it came up, but it's not like she's so dedicated to stopping their every move that, you know, that it matters. But, I mean, of course, if the option is work for people who are against them or work for them, of course she's going to work for people who are against them. If two contracts came up and one was screw over the government that she despises, she's going to take that contract more than likely. But she's not, you know, ultra dedicated to its completion per se, more so than her overarching goal. However, a higher up in that government recently basically landed here and was taken captive by the gangs. As it's a higher up who was supporting the local military forces and they're currently in their territory, she wants them, well, the objective is to capture them. She wants to personally capture them. Now, whether she wishes to complete the contract and bring them to her, well, the people who want the contract done, whether she wants to bring them to the Allied government or just kill them, that's up for debate. But we don't have them yet. We are, unfortunately, in the territory of the enemy government, not the government she hates, but the enemy military government that she's working against with the local government. Basically, local enemy. They're in their territory behind enemy lines. Luckily, they're in a megacity in a heavily gang contested area. However, it looks like, now this is just a pure guess. This is a pure guess because this is under the bot's decisions and so forth. Of course, we have sway and interpretation. But on our previous mission, which, as I said, was to secure the target, buy them from the local gang, something went south. Everybody was dead when we got there, which led to a car chase out of there, but everybody was dead when we got there. A lot of gangsters. They were killed by plasma weapons, and there wasn't much of a trace of the target leaving. Well, other than, of course the target left there. What I mean is how they left. As the local gangs didn't see, not too well at least, not too much that they shared. We were busy running from them after they started attacking to ask questions. But it seems like, best guess, speculation, they were taken, the target was taken by government forces. That's my guess, because of the advanced weapon use and the fact that they quite handily took out an entire gang stronghold and didn't leave behind any corpses of their own. So, that's not to say any of them didn't die. It's possible that some of them died, but they were in such control of the situation that they didn't leave behind any corpses, which is shocking. I mean, it had to have been done rapidly, given the fact that it's not like they took out the entire gang, they took out a stronghold, which is shocking in itself. But the local gang didn't respond. Well, it's not that they responded. We saw their response. They didn't know what happened, as far as we've seen. Like, they were shocked by it. They didn't know what went down. So it went down either silently or quickly, enough that, or shortly before our arrival, which is something like everything points to the people who took them out and secured the target to be professional. Everything points to that. So everything points to it being the local government, the local enemy government. So that's where we are. That's what we have to work with, which is not a lot of a lead to follow, which is fine because our goal, our, I say goal, I mean overarching, disconnected from Juliana Aldous, not her goal, our goal. The goal of, you know, here, us. Our goal is to keep Juliana Aldous in this territory. Specifically, I want to use this territory, not personally, of course, I have no interest in the Terran nations. That would be that would be a shit show. It would not be ideal. I'm not going to invade the Terran nations. But our goals here are to basically keep Juliana Aldous in the city so we can work on world building the city, define it well, have maps that are consistent that we can stick with instead of flying all across the galaxy, and all that, which means we are going to try and probably succeed, I hope. We have interpretation power and the ability to override the bot, of course, to keep Juliana Aldous here in the city for a while at least. So it's quite good. I mean, genuinely unexpected, but quite good that the target was secured by someone else. I must admit, I was not expecting that. I know now it has been stated way before we even did the mission that our goal was to keep Juliana Aldous here. But genuinely, I did not think of that when designing the mission. I did not, well, I say designing the mission. What I mean is, well, I genuinely didn't design the mission. I, of course, made the map for the abandoned zoo. And I made charts. I spent quite a while making charts for encounters of combat in the zoo, and I expected us to fight our way either in or out of the area. I did not expect the target to be captured. As you all probably know, that was bot generated live. So, I mean, it's ideal, but unexpected. So I have no clue where things will go. Of course, that's the entire point of bot. But we're going to keep you and all this in the city. Doesn't mean we can't find the target. Doesn't mean I know what'll happen. But we will do our best to override the bot in keeping Juliana Aldous in the area. So, let's finally get to it. Like I said, today will be slower. A lot of maintenance, just recovering the aspects of what's going on. I think that's important as it has been a while since we've covered those, I believe. So now you know what we're working with and why we're working with it. Finishing some coffee. So, that's the whys of it. why Juliana Aldis is doing this, why she's dedicated to this mission in particular, to get the target, possibly to kill them, possibly it's just a strike against the her. There are many governments involved, which makes it difficult. I mean, like I said, there's the local government that she's working for. There's the local government that she's working against. Then there's her home government that she's against that is working with the local government that she's against. So, just trying to think of a distinction word for how to describe them. So, let's see. So they will have basically last time fled the other targets after taking out the cars and arriving back at base. Entering, the mercenaries will they will abandon the car. Not ideal, but better to abandon a car that was. It's just better to abandon it, honestly. As you've seen, if we need a car, we can always steal another. Not that it's necessarily easy. I mean, we did fail like, what was it? We failed like 3 times in stealing the car. But we can always steal a car. I mean, it's not a matter of capability of stealing it. It's just a matter of how detected we are stealing it, but we can always steal a car. So, having walked the final bit back to base, the mercenaries and Juliana Aldis will chatter amongst themselves about how, basically, Juliana Aldis will say to them, fuck, we don't got anything. We only have a vague clue to go on. The other mercenary will say, we can always ask around, continue to look around. The other mercenary will mention, it's never easy. It did look too good to be true. What was it? 20,000 credits for a VIP target that we're getting paid more for? Juliana Aldis will sigh and say, you're right, it is never that easy. But at least we got out of there without taking too much of a problem. The other mercenary will agree. But Juliana Aldis will, saying that, seem not to believe it herself. Not that they're not away safely, but that it's fine that they failed. She really wanted the target, and it's most likely in her voice, despite the fact that she says that it's fine that they didn't get the target. As they enter the base, they will probably make their way to the boss. He would be in his room at this point, and he'll come back out as they meet with him. Here we are. As they meet the boss, let's see. He will say he was rather cheery about things, not happy, but he was accommodating to his guests. So as they enter, he'll say, "Welcome, welcome. Is there anything you need? I see it. You don't have the target. I suspect it didn't go as planned." Juliana Aldis will stare at him. one of the mercenaries will say, let's see, your support fled, ran away before we barely 5 steps into the enemy's territory. Your team fled. The boss will say, yes, yes. What can you expect? Lower tier gangsters? I mean, what can you expect? Yeah, there wasn't even any fighting. They just ran. There was just a few corpses. Are your gangsters so scared of a few corpses? The boss will say, let's see. They were volunteers. And, well, I'm sure that they had their reasons. But don't. Sorry, I'm thinking. Let's see. But be careful what you say about my crew. You are guests here. The mercenary will scowl. Juliana Aldous will sigh and say, I just hope we can expect better support from your forces. The boss will say, I hope we can expect better pay from your associates up top. You then Aldous will respond. No, no, not you then Aldous. The mercenary will say, I hope, but I'm sure if your gang provides better results, we can see that our supporters above provide better pay. But I thought that you said it was more than generous what they were already providing. Yes, but you can't blame my gangsters, my associates, for being a bit skittish when they're not personally seeing the benefits from it. Well, tangibly, so to speak. Water, soda, alcohol, need anything? Emotions towards the door. No, no, we're quite fine. Good. If that's all, I'll keep ears out. Keep asking around for your guest. Do make yourselves at home here as guests. He will say as he says relatively menacingly, as looking at the mercenary who spoke ill of his gangsters as he makes his way back into his office. The Juliana Aldous will sigh, looking at her associate, opening direct comms, obviously not audible. Let's see. They are in it for the money, and we aren't providing them exceptionally so. Yes, yes, the other mercenary will respond. I just don't like being left to deal with situations after an agreement for support. You and Aldous will sigh and say, I agree, but we can't make enemies of our only allies in the area. He'll say, yeah. He'll stand up, shoving the seat in towards the desk. You're right, we can't make enemies of them, but I just expect more support from them. Something more tangible. Yelena Aldous will stand. Well, the more we do for them, the more they might do for us. But I don't enjoy the prospect either. Let's go. Well, no, not let's see. The mercenary will say, we're going to go check on our associate. Leona Aldous will say, I'll look into things. And we'll, let's see. She'll head to the electronics section. The mercenary will head to the mechanic area, which is also, a impromptu med area. And the other mercenary will make their way towards the mess hall. Let's see. He needs some healing. He needs some healing, but should be better from his previous surgery. And Juliana Aldous, suppose we should open her sheet. Let's see. Our health is fine. Our armor is fine. We have half a magazine, or an energy cell more so than a magazine. But, well, not in total. Of course, we have 10 spare additional energy cells and 5 armor-piercing cells. Not bad. Unfortunately, these are not rechargeable. So, we will have to swap that out, but... Ooh, our bike is damaged, but we can make a check to repair it. Not personally. Assumedly, while we were gone, as we hadn't brought the bike, the gangsters would be working on it, which is enough for one more repair check. So let's make a repair check. First, of course, let me open up my rule book here. Go to the section for repairing. See if I can't remember the way it all works. Okay, it should repair 7 on a success. Nope, we're not in factory conditions, so 2d6. Okay. Sorry, looking for our roller here. First we roll this. 11 plus NPC book. Here we are. 11 plus 2 plus 4. Sorry, now I'm looking through our repair rules to find the DC for repairing such a thing. Okay, yes, that is a success. So, 2d6. 9. 9 points of repair to our vehicle. Which, let's see, is enough to bring it back up to full. Okay, our hover bike is repaired. Our armor's in good condition. We still have a lot of ammo. We have 3 clues. Sorry, just thinking. Let me think out loud. um, Honestly, I'm thinking, I mean, this is just overarching goal. I kind of want Juliana Aldous to get either a place, like a sort of safe house. I suppose that's this place, I suppose. But I mean, like a personal place and or a starship. Probably a starship. A starship's more economic. Well, debatably more economic, given that she travels as a mercenary. There are upsides and downsides to a starship. But having a place, an actual place, is more, not thematic, but I don't know the word, more atmospheric. Hmm. But we have nowhere near the money for that, and we're currently on a mission. We have nowhere near the money for that. We have $83,000. Well, 83,900 galactic standard credits. She could exchange for local currency, which is still not dollars, but you know, why would we ever do that? Don't ever do that. Now, I mean, if you're a traveler, you never want to exchange for local currency. If you're a person who's just going to operate on a world, you could, I guess. Anyway, we're not going to get into the lore about currency right now. Um, we have good combat, heavy combat armor. We have surplus medium combat armor. I wish it wasn't surplus, but that's what we got. Kind of want more armaments, honestly. A few grenades wouldn't hurt. We have a good survival kit with everything we need to theoretically survive in the wilderness, or even in the non-wilderness. Sorry, like I said, today's heavily maintenance. It's been a while since I've looked at this sheet. We could use more programs, of course. Skill training, feat training. Could use all that. Specifically to get better at computer use. See, okay, I'm a bit torn. Juliana Aldis wants this target. That's no doubt about that. But we have no real leads. Do we want to rest? Do we want to rest? Technically, Juliana Aldis doesn't need to rest. Not in any, I mean, we're not injured. We're not damaged. None of our gear's messed up. We could go out immediately. Our mercenaries need rest. Specifically, two of them are injured. They need healing. They'd need to wait a day to get a bit more healing. What are our augments? Okay, so we do need rest. Obviously, not right this minute, we don't need it, but in general. We do not have the nice augment that specifically makes it that we don't need basically any sleep. We do need rest in overall. But like, like I said, not right this second. Let's see. Of course, Juliana is tired. There's no doubt about that, having basically been non-stop on mission. She is tired. But she does want to hurry. Now, we have options. And by that, I'll explain. This does require a little explaining. So, the reason I'm worried, and the reason Yelena Aldis is worried. So, the way this works is we run, as I said, a living world. Of course, through messing around, through basically bullshit means, we could delay anything. We could delay the plot through bullshit means. But I'm not big on that kind of thing. I'm not big on that kind of thing. The only thing we've determined to influence in any major way is keeping Juliana Aldis here, keeping her in the city. How much we want to go about that is complex. I am very strict in following a series of rules, sort of, that basically govern the way Galactic Requiem works. In a sense that I try to avoid things of convenience. There are certain rules we follow in keeping a living world living. So, the problem we face is, more than likely, the targets that Juliana Aldous is trying to find is being taken by, we know they've been taken, more than likely, by some third party. Probably the government that we're against. Which means we're on a heavily clicking talk. Ticking clock. Got that backwards. So, let's see. We actually have it listed, I'm pretty sure. Probably down. Here we are. Yeah, 3 out of 12. Whenever things happen, or things delay, or so forth, that goes up. Pretty sure if that gets to maximum, our target escapes. Which is not ideal. Very much not ideal. So delaying is not ideal. Well, not really necessarily escapes. But, things progress towards their escape. Likely things get real bad for us. Possibly they escape. So that's what we're facing. A ticking clock in a search for the target. We can't waste time. And that's just difficult. Anyway, Juliana Aldous will head into the electronics section and talk to the gangster working there. Let's see. She will basically ask, any news at all in regards to the situation we just left, and or news in regards to well, she'll say, you hear anything about what happened at the zoo on the net, or anything about any government movements, anything about our target? Let's see. This, while a question for the person, is also technically a question for the bot. Question for the bot is, have they seen anything on the net? Has there been anything on the net in regards to this situation? Is there anything on the net that this man has seen in regards to the situation? So, for that, we roll the dice. Of course, we will roll chaos. Yes, chaos. The roll of a 1. That is well within the chaos factor. Now, yes, no. Yes being there is something in regards on the net, no being there isn't. So, 2d10s. 5 and 3. 8. No. 8 is a no. Can we change that? No, even if we had 2 points, we couldn't change that. Even if we had more than 2 points, because you can only put 2 points towards any bot change. So, 1 second, I opened a thing and it decided to freeze. There we are. But those are both odd numbers. So let me open my chart and see what that means. Because we got a 3 and a 5 and yes on chaos. Exceptional. So the answer is exceptional. And by that I mean specifically it counts as an exceptionally, I don't know how to put this. In simple terms, exceptionally no, there's nothing on the net. But what does that mean? That means, the news is not reporting on it. There's absolutely nothing about the cars, the car chase, the firefight, anything about the zoo. There's nothing on the net. In fact, there is the the uh, the gangster specifically says, let's see, it is exceptional. So he will say, I'm pretty sure I've seen people on the net heavily looking into it. And by that I mean people, he'll more so what he'll do is he'll lean back in his chair, spin around and say, yeah, nothing on the net in regards to it at all. Like, exceptionally quiet. No posts, no nothing. You'd expect to hear literally anything from somebody making a post about it somewhere. Nothing. Absolutely clean. Seems like it's been scrubbed. Pretty sure seen people's posts be removed. Pretty sure somebody's actively cleaning it up. Juliana Aldous will sigh and say, so it is the government. They do have him. Either that, or they don't have him, and they want the entire situation very quiet. But my money's on they have him. And we will add one more clue. Here we are. Where's our clues? They should be in our inventory. One clue, and we'll take notes because notes are important. After the target seems to have been taken, from the zoo, all mention of the situation seems to actively be cleaned from the net. Seems to be actively being cleaned from the net. Okay. Well, Yulana Aldous is not anywhere near, what's the word I'm looking for? Confident enough to go net searching on that herself, I don't think. Let's see. She'll, of course, tell the Gangster to keep looking into it, try and find something, recover something if he can. Well, I'll quickly look at her capability. Let's see. I mean, we're not terrible at the net. It's just we wouldn't, yeah, we're not terrible at the net, but you learn all this would not be able to deal with real net users. Not really. We don't got any of the feats that make that easier. We don't even have max like skill in it. We're like level 5, so it's not like we'd be able to actually deal with. So the way it works here is levels are levels. Just because we're level 5 does not mean that somebody's not a higher level. We do not want to pick fights with tough enemies. And if there's a high tier net user for the government clearing this up, we would not stand a chance. If the strike force that seems to have cleared out the zoo is government forces, they are likely much higher level than Juliana Aldis, which is not ideal. It just means we'd have to be strategic. That doesn't mean we couldn't kill them. Bullets are bullets, and no matter your level, getting shot will ruin your day. Hello. My apologies for that. We return. Let's see. Where were we? Yes. So it's probably not ideal to engage with a task force in any simple way. Probably, I mean, it's not like we couldn't, but it would be risky. We have 2 feats that are mostly trained. That one should be 27, because they both started at roughly the same time. I suppose Yelena Aldis will head right back out. She has an idea. I mean, yeah, yeah, she has an idea. She'll tell the net user to keep searching the net while she will go and personally look for things. Specifically, she's going to ask around. I just realized the problem with that. No, we should be fine. We should be fine. Heading into enemy gang territory, back into enemy gang territory. To ask around seems a little bit risky, especially alone, but not much of a choice. Suppose you could take one mercenary. The other 2 should stay and get healed. Also, there are so many things I want to buy. Well, specifically for Juliana Aldous. So many items, so many things. A starship, a house, different more weapons, some grenades, supplies, countless things to purchase and no money. Well, I say no money, 80,000 Galactic Standard credits, 80 something thousand Galactic Standard credits. But, um, it's like, okay, so you learn all this, probably does not, well, it depends. We must consider what Yelena Aldous thinks. Is life and just outside of work important to her? No. Of all characters, no. Her entire life so far has been traveling from world to world, taking mission and trying to, as stated in our when we started, try and take down the government that her home government. Basically, money is not in her care. By that I mean she doesn't care about that. Some characters might. She doesn't really care about saving up for ideal things. It's not to say she doesn't buy nice things on occasion. Of course, as we've seen so far, I think it was during our thing. It might have been in the archived stuff. Yulian Aldous likes buying books. She likes buying books, paperback books, as opposed to the digital ones. And or hardback books, but like physical books. And so, they don't usually cost a lot, and she'll throw down some spare cash on things like that. But, hmm, yeah, really saving money for something, for like retirement or anything like that, not in her business. I mean, sure, mercenaries do, but her goal is not to be a mercenary to have money. Her goal is to be a mercenary to gain money to take down the target, to take down the government she's against. Meaning she does want to save money because she needs money for her overarching goal. But any resource she can get towards that goal, she's not going to shy away from buying. So there needs to be a balance. Money saved for the overall goal and things needed to achieve that goal. So she is willing to buy some gear. Of course, she doesn't want to spend all the money on it. But what would we need? I know what we want. Grenades. Maybe a shotgun. Shotguns, I'm not sure if I've been over this. They are not ideal. I know. Bold, but shotguns are just genuinely not ideal. It's why they're not standard combat weapons. It's not to say they aren't used in combat, but shotguns are not your average combat weapon. Rifles and assault rifles are your mainstay combat weapon. And there's reason for that. And that is supported here in the way we run things. However, shotguns were, in the way that the original system worked, absolutely worthless. Absolutely 100% worthless. We've modified the system with all sorts of different things. And so now they're not. They have a benefit. And honestly, I just want to kind of test the benefit to a degree. But they, let's see. Let's see whether I noted it here or if I noted it in a different file. Ah, yes, here we are. Shotguns, assuming you're firing non-slugs specifically have the ability to increase the wound capacity by 4. Technically, well, increases it, yeah, by 4. Guns have a base of, I believe, 2 of wounding capability, and shotguns increase it by 4 for a total of 6 wounding capability, which is rolls on the wound chart. And shotguns provide bleed 1, and any injury or bleed has a -2 to treat due to all the pellets. Of course, there's different types of slugs and so forth. There are different types of shells. There are slugs, different types of shells, etc., etc. There's also those for assault rifles and the like, but they are also cheaper for shotguns. Getting a shotgun plasma shell is cheaper than getting a plasma round for an assault rifle. And if it's a scatter round, well then, congrats, it also has those other benefits. So, and of course, the way the system was built, not our built, but the base we built it on, unfortunately, assault rifles were also, I mean, not unfortunately, it's just accurate, I suppose. Assault rifles are generally plain better than semi-automatic weapons. Not in damage or anything like that, but in options. If you have an automatic weapon, you can fire it. If it's not fully automatic, fire it semi-automatic. That, like, why not? You can, or you can automatic when you need. There's no real benefit innately to having a semi-automatic weapon. We try loosely, to emulate realism to a degree. So there's no real reason to go with, say, a bolt action rifle over assault rifle. It's just worse for the most part because it takes longer to, use. You can't automatic with it. However, we do have one benefit for such things, which is one of our new feats specifically for them is if you have sharpshooter when using a semi-automatic long arm, you may make ranged attacks against an opponent benefiting from up to 3/4 cover. His cover is decreased by 1/4 against your attack. Well, of course you can make a ranged attack against somebody with more. Well, you really can't make a ranged attack against somebody with full cover. I suppose you could try and shoot through the wall, but that's its own thing. But yeah, basically, you decrease your enemy's cover bonus by a 4th. And further, when you make a ranged attack against an opponent whose size grants them a bonus to defense, their bonus from size decreases to half standard. In addition, you get a +2 to offset range penalties and on called shots, and +1 sneak attack die against unaware targets. So there is a benefit for using them, even if it's somewhat unrealistic, but, we face realism versus balance. So that feat basically makes you able to be a very good sniper, or even just sharpshooter, or marksman, or so forth with semi-automatic. Even though there's no reason it shouldn't work on a standard automatic weapon, switch to semi-automatic. But like, that's just gameplay, I suppose. That's the thing when designing a lot of rules for a tabletop RPG. You must balance, well, at least for me, well, realism versus gameplay. We try and lean on realism. Well, I say realism, but of course, I mean FTL. Realism within the world. We try and simulate a world. Anyway. This should be about 7 at this point, I believe. So try and do better to keep track of such things. Um, So yeah, Juliana Aldis is going to probably go and try and ask more questions around the enemy territory. Is there anything like let's let's go over it fully. Is there anything we wish to purchase while out there? Anything we want to stop by and get? Probably some food. We can probably just stop by the mess hall for that instead of spending money. Hmm. Sorry, once again thinking heavily. Let's see here. So we could use well, we have a vehicle and it's not bad at all. Is there anything we need to purchase while we're out there? No. No, we won't get anything yet. I wouldn't even know where to begin. We could use some more programs, of course. We can load more programs. We have a +2 neural data pad, meaning we have 8 PB of space, and we've only run 4.4. Meaning we could get upgraded programs, or we could get more programs. It wouldn't be a bad idea to get copies of the programs we have. Programs can be destroyed in hacking. So copying programs might be a good idea. We could. There's not much we can buy casting wise. No. Okay. Let us make one note. That is our plan, to ask around the zoo, to see if anybody knows what happened. We won't get to that today, I don't think. I mean, not today, session-wise, of course. In-game day, we're going to immediately do that. Probably. Hmm. Our assault rifle is rather good. Well, it's a laser. It's an automatic laser rifle more so than anything, but it is very good. Well, that's what you get when you get targets limited, of course. When you're in the when you require weaponry that will get the job done, go with targets limited. Yes. Um, Hmm. That's what we could use. I know one thing that is rather important. We could use a melee weapon. Now, yeah, melee combat happens, but just in case we could use a melee weapon. I mean, we are trained in the use with archaic weapon proficiency, and we have coordination standard martial arts, which doesn't give us a benefit to weapons, like innately, but we can use block with the weapon. Jab and leg sweep won't work with that, but just having a weapon would be ideal, especially in just in case melee occurs, you know? So that's something we should consider buying. Could also get cybernetically augmented or biologically augmented. Those would come in severe help. Like I said, more programs. And we can't buy anything magic related. So let us make a quick note. Things to consider buying. Grenades. Melee weapon. Starship? Those are all things up. Programs. Feats and skill training. These are all things we should consider purchasing, assuming, assuming we have more money. Technically, we could probably afford some form of feat download. Basically, we could afford a standard feat, more than likely, because that's like 50,000, depending on location. And still, even if increasing or decreasing demand, we should have enough for a basic one, not one of the ones that cost 100,000, but one of the ones that cost 50,000. Or we could just buy slow training, which would cost more. It would cost less, sorry. Cost less, but take more time. Programs are the easiest thing to purchase. Hmm. Anyway, I think we'll call it there. And I mean, as I said, this was mostly maintenance today. Next solo Sunday, yeah, it's Sunday here. Next solo Sunday, we should have you learn all this, actually head out and start asking around about at the location about what went down, if anybody knows, anybody saw anything. At the previous time, we didn't really have time, given the fact that we'd been chased by a rival gang. Hopefully, they didn't see Juliana all this, or things will get dangerous. One thing we will have to decide is, do we want to take the one uninjured merc with us, which might prove useful if things go south, but it would draw more attention to us. So that's an important question. We will have to ask around, search, we'll see where it goes. Anyway, we will award XP. 8. Okay. So next time we'll get to the actual things that occur as we search around for all that. We might do this, maybe, again on Sunday, and or we might run a game on Sunday. I mean, like a video game, and or we might not be here Sunday, but we'll be here on Wednesday for World Building Wednesday, in which we'll work on this city, and we're building the area around Yulena Aldous. And then next Friday, we will continue this. So, thank you all for stopping by. I hope you had a good time, even though it was mostly maintenance and slow. And hopefully we'll get back into all of this. Thank you all for stopping by. And have a good day.